You are now tuned into DAR Sports Media. It's the college football show coming off of arguably the greatest regular season college football game in the history of the fucking broadcast sport. Alabama and Georgia showed out. Our man Tay, he had it. He knew. Alabama's back. Alabama was up big to start, looked very dominant. Followed through in the end like a true champion does. How'd you know, Tay? How'd the game go in your opinion? You know, how did that match up with the way you thought things were going to roll?
I thought the game went at the end of the score. Like if you look at the score at the end of the game, I thought it was going to be close, but I didn't think Bama would be up by so much so early. Like they were up like 28-0 at one point. I didn't think that was gonna happen. I was thinking more so like a back and forth shootout kind of thing. You would think it was that, you know, if you just looked at the box score and stuff, you would think it was close, but really Bama was ahead the whole time. Like, you know, Georgia did catch them, but you know, when they needed to score, they did it right away. And they just stayed ahead the whole game. So I would say they dominated. They were clearly the better team. Yeah, they were at home too, so it definitely helped. It was a great environment.
Yeah, great atmosphere during that game.
Yeah, so I don't know. Jalen Milroe's making his case for Heisman. I'll tell you that he had 117 rushing yards. He had 300 passing yards, 4 total touchdowns.
So with that, there's something I want to ask you about. Mm-hmm. So I'm seeing some people in some places, and I have kind of felt like this from the beginning. You know, saying everybody's kind of just saying automatically Carson Beck is the number 1 overall pick. But I heard it mentioned, and I had kind of felt like this too. Is he the number 1 pick just because that's what a number 1 pick looks like? Yeah. Is Jalen Milroe really the better prospect right now? Because I haven't seen anything that Carson Beck has done that's particularly impressed me.
Yeah, that's understandable. I think Carson Beck is more so like tools and stuff like that. You know, he's more so big arm, 6'4", 220, you know, got the size, dual threat. That's why. It's not necessarily what's happening now. Like if you remember, let's go back 2 years, Will Levis. Yep. If you watch Will Levis, you weren't impressed either. And they were having him mocked in the first round. He slipped to the second round. That was like the big draft story, if y'all remember. But yeah. I think this is the Will Levis prospect in this draft. Like really has shown nothing in college, but just gonna.
So do you think that Milroe is making a case to be a top 10 pick?
Yes,
this DeBoer offense is a little bit more complex, a little bit closer to a pro style offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he is making a case for it. And then, what was I gonna say? He's making a case for it, but I don't think Carson Beck should slide that far. Like I think it's gonna be just like last year. It's gonna be 6 quarterbacks again. Like they're gonna be taking very early. Like I don't think you should give up. It's still early in the season. Like who knows? Like if they go to the playoff, he could have a great playoff. Georgia could still win the national championship. Like I don't.
Yeah, it was mentioned on the show, and it's interesting about this playoff format. Now, obviously, things could change. Shocking wins and losses could happen. Things could move around. But they said on the broadcast, the loser of this game is likely to host a playoff game because they would be one of the first at-larges, and then they would be the higher rank, so they would host a playoff game. It's like, damn, like
yeah.
So we'll probably see them both in the playoffs still. Now, it's not necessarily because if now, like, okay, so it's Georgia. Now Georgia's on notice. Like if they lose another game, they're going to be in real danger.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's really affected or ruined the college football regular season that much. What else stood out to you this weekend, Tay? This past weekend?
Notre Dame. You know,
There you go.
They had a tough game against Louisville, and they took care of business. You know, Louisville they had to go to Notre Dame, and I don't know, they went down early. They went down 21-0. They scored back, and they just never caught up. Like, I felt like every time Louisville tried to score, you know, they tried to come back, Notre Dame would put some points on the board and, you know, just make it even harder on them to come back. But yeah, Notre Dame's a good football team. They honestly just had a bad week. Like, they've ever since they had that bad loss, they're slowly climbing back, you know, to the top 12. So I think they'll make the playoff, but they honestly had a bad week, which happens. You know, it shouldn't happen, but it does happen. And I also, Florida State getting blown out by SMU, I really enjoyed that. You know, I didn't, you know, they're really bad.
That's why Axe didn't show up this week. That's why Axe didn't show up this week, because he knows the chickens are coming home to roost. Because Florida State, SMU was one of the examples that they used in their lawsuit to say that they should be allowed out of the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
They got their fucking ass whipped by them. Tremendous.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. And then Kansas State, Oklahoma State. That game was underwhelming. Like, I thought Oklahoma State was gonna at least show something. You know, that quarterback, he's about 28 years old. I just thought by now they would put together
10,000 total yards, 10,000 passing yards, bro. Respect him. 10,000 total passing yards.
I mean, hey man, if I played 10 years of college, I would get it too. But I don't know. I just expected more from them. Like, I thought they were a little better than that. They just came out flat. Kansas State, pretty much, they scored every time they got the ball. Like, back to back to back. They scored 42 points. I don't know. Oklahoma State, it just didn't belong. Like, that was a bad loss, honestly. I didn't think the game would be that bad.
True, what stood out to you, man, about this weekend's action?
You know, the game that I enjoyed the most, I mean, obviously the Georgia and Bama game was like ridiculous. I don't think we've seen a more entertaining game that started out like, oh man, ain't nothing gonna happen here. We clearly see what type of game this is gonna be. And I think I took my eye off the game for a little bit, and then the next thing I know, I see like 30 texts like, yo, is Georgia gonna do it? Is Georgia gonna do it? They about to do it? And I look back at the game and I'm like, this cannot be happening. Very weird, uneven performance for both Georgia and Bama at different times. I think, Bama came out super strong. Georgia looked very, very terrible. If I'm not mistaken, I think I was the one who said I was going to take Georgia, but it could go either way. Georgia coming back, and I believe they took the lead at one point, which completely just blew my mind watching that game. But that's the game that sticks out the most. But another game I really enjoyed was the Louisville and Notre Dame game. I thought that was a pretty solid game. Other than that, I think everything kind of went as expected. I had my eye on the Oregon and UCLA game a little bit, but that kind of went exactly how I expected it to as well. Nothing. I mean, I think Tay mentioned Florida State. Tay mentioned Florida State. Tay mentioned Florida State. I gotta say that
in the Big Ten going forward, man.
Oh yeah,
UCLA in the Big Ten.
Not looking good.
I was like, let me see. I had concerns right off the bat, and I said, well, let me see. And it is looking dangerous. What's that?
They got to go to the Big 12. I think the Big 10 was a little too much. They should be in the Big 12.
They're going to be the West Coast. They're going to be the West Coast Maryland.
It's something.
Like, why did you even fucking do this? And then, you were semi-competitive or at least had a chance. And fucking, you're going to be a fucking doormat. And I don't know. I don't see any, they're in LA, but you're coming in with like a brand new coach who used to be like a player. And I don't know, man. But keep going, True. Your next thought, you were talking about FSU and SMU, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I love seeing Florida State struggle. That's a beautiful thing to watch. I'm trying to think. I think Ohio State had a dominant win this weekend too, right? If I'm not mistaken, I didn't get a chance to catch everything this weekend, but I think Ohio State. I have a slightly vested interest in how well Ohio State does, as well as Cincinnati, in their games as well. So I'm starting to kind of pay attention, a little bit more attention to them. But that was really the only thing that stood out. I think that Georgia and Bama game absolutely was the game that stood out to me the most. That and Louisville and Notre Dame were the games that really caught my attention. Otherwise, I feel like it was a pretty standard week. Eric, I think were you the one that was heavy on Oklahoma State when we
I just
started?
said they were a sleeper.
Okay.
Kansas State's supposed to be good too. Hey, good team,
Yeah.
good team. They lost.
Losses happen, man. People take L's. It happens.
Axe. We're excited to hear your thoughts on this. Because we had talked about how FSU had made an example out of SMU in the paperwork of the fucking why they should be allowed to leave the ACC, and now SMU I think might fill out some paperwork to say, hey, we should be able to move up because we shouldn't be stuck in a fucking conference with these bums who we just whooped the shit out of. What are your thoughts?
I think X said he needs a minute or two before. I think the loss of the Florida State loss is he has to gather his thoughts a little bit.
Yeah, he's still sitting over there in fucking solitude in the West Wing.
He's got to gather his thoughts a little bit. We'll come back to X. What are you looking forward
to coming up this weekend there, Tay? Axe isn't off the fucking hook.
Yeah. Missouri, Texas A&M would be interesting. I've liked Missouri so far. They've been going up and down in the top, really in the top 25, even though they haven't lost. They got a lot of NFL players on their team, especially Luther Burden. You should see him. He'll get drafted in the first round this year. Great wide receiver. I don't know. This week is kind of pick your poison. It's no like rank versus rank this week. Like I do like watching Tennessee, and I like Arkansas as well. Arkansas is very competitive.
Well, and like we said, the beautiful thing about college football is even when there's no obvious great matchups, there's going to be great games. There's great games every single weekend, no matter what. Mm-hmm. You just don't know what they're going to be.
Yeah. So definitely like Tennessee.
And there was one rank versus rank. You got number 9 Mizzou against number 25 Texas A&M.
Yeah. That's the one I said first. But after that, usually it's something a little close.
So there was a little gimmick going on Twitter this week where they were showing the most obscure team that every team had played against in their past. And the one for Texas A&M was Texas School for the Deaf and Dumb. And I said, God damn, they played themselves? How the fuck did that happen? Anyways, what else are you looking forward to?
UNLV. They did just fine without their quarterback.
They look better. Yeah.
They look better. They have a real contest this week. They play Syracuse. Kyle McCord has improved a lot from Ohio State last year. I think that's Friday. Yeah, if you're watching this today, it's on Friday. It's a Friday game. So there's no need to watch Oregon and Michigan State. That's a blowout. Don't waste your time with that. So I would definitely watch Syracuse UNLV because they got UNLV ranked 25. So
you looking forward to the first cross country conference game that we got coming up? The there's a lot of funny memes going on Twitter right now calling it Coke versus woke. What was the other one? There was another one that people were saying too, but convicts versus communists. Convicts versus communists. Coke versus woke. Fucking Miami going to Cal. Cal has looked solid this year. Miami with the number 8 ranking going across the country. It's a 10:30 Eastern kickoff. Interesting, I think.
You think that's a trap game?
I might be what I'm getting at here.
Okay.
They better hope there's not a forest fire, because then they'll have that Northern California smoke advantage that happens sometimes too.
It could be.
True. What are you looking forward to this weekend?
I gotta agree with Tay on this UNLV thing. I'm interested to see how that plays out against Syracuse. I'm interested in the Vanderbilt Bama game too. I just for spread purposes, you know. I think that's how I'm looking at a lot of these games. Just kind of for spread purposes and kind of looking at, you know, how the parlays are going to play out if need be.
Vandy has been spicy this year.
That's true. I think this week is going to be a very
Might be a
deceptively good
letdown
weekend.
game. They might be feeling good about themselves.
Yep. So I think this is a very deceptive week in terms of potential for, you know, anybody betting spreads, anybody looking at that. So I'm really interested in that UNLV
There are
game.
not very many big spreads this weekend, man. So yeah, interesting weekend.
I think they're trying to trap. I think a lot of these games are going to end up closer because on paper it doesn't look like these games are going to be super good, but it's college football. The games you least expect to, you know, turn out how they will, you know,
turn out.
you know,
Yep.
so you know, you start taking a couple of those underdogs too.
Our biggest spread of the week is Penn State by 28 over UCLA. UCLA going to Penn State.
Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that one. UCLA has not looked great, so
yeah.
But Penn State's due.
And it's a noon kickoff, so 9 a.m. LA time. 9 a.m. against Penn State. Gonna get your ass whooped.
Yeah, never mind.
Quit. They're gonna give up in the first 10 minutes. What do you think, Tay?
Yeah, Penn State. I'm going with Penn State. They'll beat them by 31. 38-7 score. That's my prediction.
And then we got the other biggest spread is Boise State by 28 over Utah State. Boise State has been looking nasty this year with fucking Jeanty, man. Oh my god.
They got a fucking, I mean, I don't even know how, like,
that good brother almost has 1,000 yards after 4 games.
Insane.
He got 10 yards to carry 9 like touchdowns.
That's insane, man. I get. I mean, with how he's looking, I get why they would have the spread be that. I don't know. I feel like this could be, like I said, I just feel like this week has the potential for a lot of teams that are going to be, you know, a lot of teams that you won't expect to keep it as close as they are. I think there's going to be the week for that. It's just something about this weekend that just, you know, it's also around. This is also around the time a lot of colleges are doing their homecoming weekends too. So, you know, these next few weeks.
Yep.
Yes. So I think you could see, you know, some of these games not go as expected because of that. There's always just other external factors that you can kind of, you know, bring into play when you're dealing with college ball. So, like I said, there's not a lot that I'm looking at like, yo, this is going to be a great game. But there's a lot that catch my eye in terms of being deceptive or maybe games that could, you know, some trap games. So you go in there not expecting your opponent to bring their A game, and then they surprise you when they come out and hit you in the mouth early on, and now you playing from behind. So I think that's a possibility for some of these games. I am curious after that performance that Bama gave with Georgia, that extremely dominant performance, and then they slacked off. I'm interested to see if Vanderbilt could make it a game. Vanderbilt could, you know, find a way to, you know, get out to a lead. All types of thoughts running through my mind in terms of that particular game. So that's a game I'm definitely looking out for. It's a couple other games too, but I think the lack of ranked teams battling each other, I think it's just one. I think you said it's just one game this week. Yeah, I think this week feels like a letdown week, but I don't think it's going to be a letdown week.
So number 9 Missouri is going to number 25 TAMU. Texas A&M is fucking favored by 2.5. Why does this keep happening? Why does Texas A&M keep getting favored in these games against teams that are way higher ranked than them? Tay?
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I wouldn't honestly. I got Missouri. I don't know. I can't explain it. They were I remember, didn't they play LSU? And I think they were the favorite as well. I don't know. I don't know why they keep doing this. It should be 2.5 the other way around. I have no idea.
So plus points for Missouri should be easy money then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're gonna win the game.
Absolutely. Ax, are you fucking? Do you got the International Space Station fucking fixed up there yet?
Initially, I was trying to hop on my phone because I was in the middle of something.
Hey.
Then I had to switch your laptop. So
we didn't forget.
Yeah, I heard y'all. I heard the
boys.
I was like, give me 2 minutes. But
oh, you got all the time you need now, brother. What are we doing here? We had a lawsuit that said, look at this garbage ass program that y'all got us stuck in. We should be allowed to leave the ACC. And then those fellas came in and fucking put the boots to that ass. So tell me, you look like you're in pain. You're suffering over this right now.
Unfortunately, I watched the majority of this game. I was flipping back and forth between that and the Bama Georgia game. So yeah, to see like the elite play and then to see the treachery we had going on in the field, especially with DJ Pooh, like stinking it up once again. We're going under 20 points once again.
I don't understand what the fucking holdup here is. Like, you might as well get somebody some reps. Because this is going nowhere fast with point, man. Over there on UFM, you know, DJ Pooh, I like that name. DJ Ooga Booty is what they call him over there on UFM.
Yo, one of the worst quarterbacks in Florida State history, bro. By far. Worse than Drew Weatherford. Worse than Xavier Lee. Like, buns. Terrible. Awful.
Those were the days, man. What are you looking forward to coming up this week?
Shout out to Colorado, too. Getting that 27.
Oh, yeah, we should talk about that. Goddamn. Colorado, this is starting to get kind of serious. A little bit. They're 2 wins away from the. I'm telling you, I've brought this up, right? If you look past all of the discourse, a coach taking a fucking team from one, you know, we've all been, you know, obviously me, True, and Axe for longer, for, 20 plus years. A coach taking a program from 1-11 to a 6-win team in 2 years is we're talking historic turnaround type shit. Like, that just never, ever fucking happens. And it doesn't feel like it's because it's the Deion Sanders show. It doesn't really feel like anybody's really bringing that up. But going from 1-11 to 6 wins in 2 years would kind of be proof of concept that you can turn around a program the way Deion's been doing it. And we're only a couple of wins away from that happening. Lots of ball left to play. Thoughts, man. Thoughts, Ax, since you brought it up.
I'm just glad that the defense is finally tightening up. They put together a complete game. Ever since that Nebraska game, they've been on point, man. Like, still got the annex, whatever, but they backing it up with the good play now. Offensive line's been a bit better. Shador's been doing his thing. Travis Hunter is fucking amazing. Like,
yeah,
two-way level play is just ridiculous. Like, if they can get to 9 wins, he's winning the Heisman. He has to. Never seen somebody so impactful on both ends to that level.
So, okay, you said 9 wins. What do you think is the minimum? What is the minimum amount of games for them to win for him to have a legitimate shot at the Heisman?
Some people might go for 8, just the way he plays. I think some people might just be like, yo, you know what, 8 wins, considering they came from 1 win 2 years ago. I mean, we got to give credit where it's due.
Say they get to 8 wins. but Boise wins 10, and Jeanty has 2,000 yards.
Oh yeah, yo, if Jeanty breaks Barry Sanders' record, then
He ain't breaking Barry Sanders' record. That's like 27.
No, he's not. He's not even
Yeah.
on pace for that.
No, he ain't doing that. But
you say
well,
Barry Sanders
he
was.
is on pace for it. But I don't
He
think it's gonna happen. Yes, he has almost 1,000 yards in 4 games.
yeah, they say he's on pace
It's
apparently,
easy.
but
Yeah,
Is he?
yeah.
that's what I said.
Well, and if Boise makes a fucking playoff run, so you got to think they probably got 12 games between their regular season and their conference championship, and then one playoff game. He probably has 13 games. He has 1,000 yards almost in 4. At 8 games, he'd be near 2,000, and then he'd have 4 more games. He's
What
there.
did Barry have? I thought Barry had like
2,700.
Oh no,
Yeah,
he's
like
not.
2,700.
No.
He's not. No, he's not doing it. I don't think he's going to do it. But
Yo, that's fucking
back to the
ridiculous.
question. Back to the question. If he's over 2,000 yards and they win 10 games, if they make the playoff, if Boise, Boise's been a good program, but they have not been looking like that top tier giant killer like they had lately. If they ride Jeanty's back into a playoff berth, I think you have to give it to him, man.
They're which conference are they in again? I don't want to misspeak on here.
They're in the Mountain West.
Mountain West. Yeah, they can get as long as they close to undefeated. Because like Mountain West and Sunbelt got like decent teams on the low.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
even
if
Tulane is
they lose,
too.
If they lose, they better not lose because UNLV is right behind them. They're in the Mountain West as well.
Oh,
well, they lost.
That's why
they lost by 3 to Oregon. Remember? But they've been beating the dog shit out of every other team they've been playing. And they have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more games. So, yeah, 8 plus 4, that's regular season. They have 12 regular season games. Plus probably a conference. I can't remember if they have a conference championship anymore in the Mountain West. But at least in a bowl game. So he's going to have 13 or 14 games.
Yeah.
I think if they win 10, if they sniff a playoff and he's over 2,000 yards, I think you have to give it to him. I think it's arguable. He's already, but you go back and forth. What do you think there, True?
I don't know. I'm actually gonna disagree with y'all. I think I think he's gonna break the record. Barry Sanders' record. I think he is. I just have a feeling that he's gonna catch steam. So I think if he does break that record, I think you might have to give it to him. And Boise State looks pretty good. I want to also touch on the Colorado thing. We had a conversation about this before the season started about Colorado, and I don't think I expected what we're seeing so far. But then I think back to last year, how it kind of started, and it seemed like promising as well, and then it kind of all went to shit out of kind of quickly. So I don't want to speak too much and jinx it, but I like what I'm seeing so far. I think Colorado looks better than I expected. I think we were a little concerned. As you see, there haven't been a whole bunch of celebrities all on the sidelines, all in the videos, all up on that. So I think
wait till they get to 8 wins.
I think
and that will be another commentary that I'm sure you in particular are going to have some things to say about. Like, and now that we're back at 8 wins, look at everybody showing back up again.
Cam Ward's in the Heisman race too. Like, I feel like enough weeks has passed. Like, even though they almost lost to Virginia Tech can do that stupid ass fake field goal.
Yeah. Hey, one thing that we haven't talked about, but I think it needs to be spoken about after this past weekend. Are we going to have a 17-year-old freshman on the Heisman stage this year? Because that buddy from fucking Alabama, Ryan Williams, woo-hoo-hoo, goodness.
He's that catch, that one catch, man. That
just
catch.
boogieing on people. No regard.
That's a bad boy.
Yeah, he different. Then had the Mike Vick pick on IG, the dog killer.
Yep.
But he's a little too low, I think, to be in there just yet. Like, there's others. Like, he's not better than McMillan or even Travis Hunter at receiver. I think it'll take a year or two, but not this year. No.
But it's 5 people that get invited though, right? So
Yeah. No, he's not in. No, he's not even.
He's top 5 most talked about college football player this fucking week.
That don't mean he's deserving of a Heisman. I don't think
you got to keep it up though. You got to keep it up.
He keeps it up. I'm not saying is he deserving of the Heisman. I say is he going to get invited?
No, he shouldn't even be invited. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
he's good.
Look at Tay. Tay is the ultimate like youth warrior, youth movement guy, and now he's here like, no, don't even.
I mean, they're all young. They're all young.
Wow,
Oklahoma State's quarterback.
Not in modern college football. You can't say that. Well, another place where we're not all young is here on DAR Sports Media. But despite that, along with our infusion of youth movement there with Tay, we are still pumping out all the content. The Medium site is still rocking. We just posted our NFL top 10s of the week. That'll be going up regularly. So check that out on the Medium site, along with all the many, many articles that are going up. The Medium site is popping. Of course, we got our NFL coverage posted on earlier on this week. Some in-depth coverage there from True, Apollo, and myself. And probably early, maybe end of weekend, maybe Monday, maybe a weekend wrestling, because some pretty decent amount of news just broke. And plus, we'll have some pay-per-view stuff to cover. Football, soon to be basketball, writing articles, the world of wrestling, college football. We are here for you. God damn, the world of DAR never stops.